Welcome to All Pro Football Data Entertainment. Talking about Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker out of Clemson. Uh, we're going to be looking at him based on his production data profile and other statistical factors to kind of see where he projects as an NFL linebacker. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is the son of former All-Pro and Pro Bowl linebacker Jeremiah Trotter of NFC East fame. He was also that dude that every time you saw, this is just me personally, every time you saw the Eagles locker room, you saw this swole dude in the background with a neck this thick, and you're like, who is that guy? Jeremiah Trotter, that's who that guy was. So I'm very excited to evaluate his son, who actually has a very good production profile. So in terms of defensive market share data, which is what I use to evaluate most prospects, you're taking an individual statistic and you're dividing it by the team total statistic. So for example, you might take solo tackle data. You divide it by the total solo tackles of his team to give you that number. And then that number is compared to every single linebacker in the database, since as far back as you can imagine, to give you that particular score. So, for example, if a linebacker, say, had 100 solo tackles and the team had 400 total, then he had 25% solo tackle market share. That number, again, is then compared against positional peers, and then you score it and rank it to give you a percentile score. So instead of saying z-scores, which I know a lot of statistical people are very familiar with, they know what a z-score is. Instead of telling you what the z-score of the prospect is, that he's 2 points, he's 2 standard deviations away from the mean, I'm just telling you what his score was based on 0 to 100 to kind of give you that idea. So in terms of his overall production data, he had a 90 plus percentile solo tackle market share production score, 80 plus percentile in terms of sack market share, and 90 plus percentile in terms of tackle for loss market share. At the linebacker position in particular, solo tackles are very important. Sacks are gonna, you don't necessarily have to be great in terms of sacking, but you do have to have at least above average, at least contribute a little bit in terms of, blitzing and stuff like that. And then tackle for loss, you do need to do well in terms of tackle for loss market share. So when you look at the All-Pro averages and the Pro Bowl averages of the position, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. definitely hits all those places that you're looking for at the position. Taking a look at some more linebacker market share data, looking at his interception market share, his forced fumble market share, and his pass deflection market share, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was well above the basic areas he needs to be in terms of those particular metrics. So when you look at the starter average, the Pro Bowl average, and All-Pro average, he pretty much hit above those marks at the position in terms of his overall market share data. Also, the sample size, just so you know, has 2,999 linebacker performances since the 1989 NFL draft class. Oh man, that's a lot of linebackers. It took me a decade to get all them dang linebackers in there, guys. So I'm very, very proud of that particular metric. Now, moving on to adjusted production score. So adjusted production is basically the context of their production. So you're looking at things like their age, their strength of schedule, their strength of team. The MSA score takes into account their market share data plus strength of schedule, strength of team, and age score. And then the pass score takes into account their market share, efficiency scores, age, strength of team, strength of schedule scores, all together. Efficiency scores in terms of linebackers kind of refers to interceptions, pass deflections, and forced fumbles. Those are extra production points that are just kind of there that are, a little bit extra. You don't need a linebacker to get interceptions, but it would be great if they did. You wouldn't need a linebacker to get a whole lot of forced fumbles, but it would be great if they did. You wouldn't really need to have a linebacker to get a ton of pass deflections, but it would be better if he did. So those are kind of what you're looking at in terms of adjusted production. And in terms of his adjusted production, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, guys, like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is, he's incredible. Okay, in terms of his adjusted linebacker production, 99 percentile in terms of his pass score, 98 percentile in terms of his MSA score, and 98 percentile in terms of his A score. That is just fantastic. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty, guys. Uh, the All Pro averages at the position are in the 80 percentile. He's above that area. Pro Bowl, he's above that area. Starter, he's above that. He hits all the metrics you're looking for in terms of him as a prospect. Pro comparisons. Oh, whew, I'm getting fired up, guys. Pro comparisons for him. Patrick Willis, Roquan Smith, Nick Barnett, Tremont Edmonds, Dijon Harris, Ryan Shazier, Malik Jefferson, and Tim Garigal. Not a bad list to be on at all. And again, these are just the guys that compared similar to him based on their overall production profile. Taking a look at sacks, tackle for loss, stuff like that. Trotter Jr. had a 99.93 EAV, or expected approximate value score, one of the highest in this particular draft class, or any draft class in the last, oh gosh, so long. 1989, in terms of that particular draft class for linebackers. I'm going to keep pushing it back, by the way. I just have to get the data for it. But that is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. outlook in a nutshell. He profiles as an all-pro to starting linebacker based on his overall data. He does not have any major red flags in his production, age, or level of competition. However, Trotter will need a strong performance at the combine to take the crown as a top linebacker or top back, when I say back, I'm referring to him as a linebacker, due to a crowded field of other star linebackers this year. This is a very deep linebacker class, guys. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will need to do well to kind of stay in that area in terms of that particular thing for him. So I am going to be excited for him. I think if he does well at the combine, he's going to be fantastic. If he tested anywhere near the same as his daddy did, ooh, baby, you got yourself something here, guys. So, all that stuff out of the way, thank you guys so much for following my channel. My name is Jim Coburn. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jimmetrics, Jimtrics. You can also check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/jcoburn, JCOBERN. And with all this stuff out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!